And here we are again. Good evening, folks. Welcome to Friday Night Tech Talk. Glad to have you all aboard, whoever's here. And hope everybody has a wonderful Father's Day weekend. I don't know what it's like where you are, but it's been hot here for the last few days, upper 90s. I think today, what it's like where you are. There we go. I think today we hit about 93, 94. But so far, we're doing just fine. Of course, I tend to like hot weather, having had frostbite twice in the past. So hope it's okay weather wherever you are in the world. And Vince is here. Hey, Vince, glad you're here. Eleanor is saying she doesn't see me. I'm seeing myself just fine. I'm looking at it on YouTube on my phone. Vince, let me know if you see me okay. Or anybody else who's watching, just let me know if you can see me and hear me okay. So, yeah, microphone's working. As far as I know, everything is working. Oh, Eleanor says now she sees me. Well, I didn't do anything, so I don't know what that is. Okay, Eleanor. Anyway, Eleanor was here first a while ago. She was here at 6:45 when I first put it up, and she wished everybody a happy Father's Day also. So, yo, Gary's in here. Glad to have you here, brother. Getting some of the regulars in here. So you all know that, you'll all probably know that last week I was up in New Jersey with Mike, and we did Friday Night Tech Talk from the Joker Tech channel. Oh, and also wanted you all to know, color-wise, you're seeing me a heck of a lot better today because I finally bit the bullet and decided to use my DSLR, my old DSLR, and the color and the picture is so much better than using my webcam. Matter of fact, I'll show you guys what the difference is. Give me 1 sec. I'm going to stop this camera and I'm going to activate now there's my webcam, which I've been using for a couple of years now. And you can see the difference in color, and you can see it's much more faded out. So let me take it back to the DSLR, and you can see now the colors you're seeing now, that's the real colors. That's the red in my hat. My skin color is exactly what this camera shows. So it's much better. I haven't quite perfected it yet. I'm still learning this stuff. I got everything right. I've been working on this camera thing for about 2 weeks now. And I've been, of course, following a lot of YouTube videos, learning as I go. But the one thing I haven't figured out when I'm just sitting here in front of the camera and I'm not filming or anything, it wants to shut the lens down every half an hour. So I may just flip over to the other camera and just restart this camera. It needs to be restarted, I think, every half an hour. So as long as you're willing to bear with that, what you're seeing is much better picture, much better colors. So hopefully I'll learn why it needs to be rebooted every half an hour and get rid of that. But I just think it's so much better. I just can't believe the difference. So Mike is going to be very busy all weekend. So he told me he probably wouldn't be coming by. But of course, as usual, I sent the link out to Will and Ted, as always. So if they can pop in, I guess they will. And I even sent it to Mark out in California. And every once in a while, he'll pop in. So other than that, it's probably going to be short if it's just me. And for once, I have one phone story this week. But first thing I want to do is share screen and show you guys, as always, where you can see the show notes on my website. So I'll share that screen And if you go to mobilegeezer.wordpress.com, click on the first story with today's date, and you can follow along in the show notes just as I do. So let's put my usual branding back up. Okay. And all right, we'll go on with the first story. So I figured I'd start with today because we have the dates for Prime Day. I think the dates just came out yesterday. So we're going to go with that story first. So this was on Tom's Guide. And let's make this. Okay. So Amazon Prime Day 2022 dates just announced. Here's when the deal starts. Prime Day is less than a month away. So let's put this in reader view, see if we can get rid of some of these ads. Okay. So Amazon Prime Day 2022 will take place on July 12th and 13th. Interestingly, I believe July 12th is the same day that the Nothing Phone is going to be announced, but we've got that story coming up, so we'll see. The mega retailer confirmed the dates today after previously announcing the annual sales event would be held in July. This means that Prime Day deals are less than a month away, and there are some early already. If you're out of the loop, Prime Day is Amazon's fall holiday designed primarily to sell Prime memberships. Despite what the name would suggest, it's actually a 48-hour event. It's usually celebrated in the summer, but 2020 was delayed into October due to the pandemic causing significant stock shortages across just about every product category. During Prime Day, millions of popular items are reduced from Instant Pots to running shoes, but the biggest discounts are usually seen on Amazon's own devices. The likes of Alexa devices, Fire tablets, Fire Edition TVs, and Kindle e-readers typically drop to an all-time low price during the sales event. In fact, outside of Black Friday, Prime Day is often the best time of year to make a purchase on Amazon. Amazon has already started teasing what deals shoppers can expect to see via an official press release. The two-day savings event includes must-have brands such as Beats, Casper, Elemis, Levi's, iRobot, and Shark Ninja, fashion styles from Amazon Essentials, and Simple Joys by Carter's, and Amazon's lowest prices ever on select products from Sony, Bose, and GE. Amazon Prime Day originally started in 2015 as a way for the retailer to mark its 20th anniversary. Back then, it was just a one-day event that was comparatively low-key. Fast forward to now, and it's a 48-hour extravaganza that doesn't just offer discounted deals, but also incorporates a live stream concert. Last year included a performance from Billie Eilish, and 2019 featured Taylor Swift. That I did not know. While the majority of Prime Day deals will be reserved for July 12th and 13th, there will still be savings to be had in the run-up event. In previous years, Amazon has kicked off Prime Day with a whole week of teaser deals leading up to the main event, and it's been confirmed that this will be the case again this year, so get ready. However, this year the deals will start significantly earlier. Early Prime Day deals start from June 21st this year, that's next Tuesday, and will include 55% off selected Amazon devices, up to 50% off Fire TVs, and more deals from top brands like DeLonghi, hope I'm saying that right, DeLonghi, Dove, and SodaStream. Confirmed deals going live on June 21st include 55% off selected Amazon devices, Fire TVs from $89, Amazon Omni Series 55-inch 4K Fire TV for $299, not bad. Pioneer 43-inch 4K Fire TV for $199. That sounds pretty good to me. Toshiba 75-inch M550 4K Fire TV for $699. So prices sound really good. This all starts on Tuesday. As Prime Day deals can often be very limited or only available during a short window, you'll need to pay close attention if you want to score the biggest savings. That's where we can help. Make sure to keep it locked to Tom's Guide as we bring you complete coverage of Amazon Prime Day 2022 over the next month. So it's officially July 12th and 13th, but starting next Tuesday, there'll be deals to be had. So keep an eye out. So that's pretty exciting for all of us techie types. So let's get out of this reader view and let's kill that story. Stop screen for a second. Okay, nobody new that I can see. Okay, now I made a little follow-up on Prime Day because there's a game sale going on also. So let's continue with that. Now this was on The Verge. Just saw this yesterday also. Amazon Prime Day will have more than 30 free games, including Mass Effect. I don't know Mass Effect, but some of you might. Some big games will be available during Amazon's Deals event. So let's go to Reader View. Okay. Amazon is planning to offer more than 30 free games to Amazon Prime subscribers as part of its Prime Day festivities. Beginning next Tuesday, the 21st, ahead of Prime Day, Amazon will make more than 25 games available to claim for free. I think that's if you're a Prime member, including Metal Slug 2 and 2 King of Fighters titles. So obviously those are going to be going real quick. I didn't see what time it's going to start. Maybe it'll tell us, but other than that, you're going to have to check. During the actual Prime Day event, which takes place July 12th and 13th, Amazon will offer some bigger titles. Perhaps the most notable is Mass Effect Legendary Edition, a remastered version of BioWare's acclaimed sci-fi RPG trilogy. But Amazon Prime subscribers will also be able to claim 2 racing games. That's more my speed. Grid Legends and Need for Speed Heat. But I haven't played Need for Speed in years. As well as 3 Star Wars games, Star Wars Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, and Star Wars Jedi Knight 2. Oh, Jedi Outcast and Star Wars Republic Commander. In addition to free games, Amazon will also be offering the Luna controller for its Luna Cloud gaming service for $39.99, a $30 discount. Okay. Off the controller's usual $69.99 price. That promotion will be available from next Tuesday, June 21st, 1 a.m. Eastern. So 1 a.m. in the morning, Eastern time. My guess is a lot of that's going to be gone at the normal time we usually wake up. We're expecting that Amazon will unleash a tidal wave of other deals in honor of Prime Day, and we'll be covering them closely right here at The Verge. So starting next Tuesday, the early deals, and I guess if you're a Prime member, you can get free games. Maybe you don't have to be a Prime member for some of the stuff. But anyway, keep an eye out. So next Tuesday, 1 o'clock in the morning. So let's get out of Reader View and stop screen. So Vince says everything is perfect for him. Good. Glad to hear that. Okay, anybody else that's new here or hasn't checked into the comments, just let me know you're there. So let's go back to our stories. I'm watching for any of the guys to come in, folks, so I'll let you know if they do. All right, back to sharing screen. And now we'll go on to Nothing Phone, which at least we finally know a little bit. So I said Nothing Phone 1, finally we have a date and auction. Seems like we're back to 1+ days with Carl. But you'll see what I mean in a minute, in case you haven't heard about it. So this was on Tech Advisor. Nothing finally shows something of its phone. We finally know what the Nothing Phone 1 looks like. So let's put it in reader view because these ads are already pushing the page down. Okay. Author Dominic Preston. Since its launch in late 2020, mysterious startup Nothing, created by former OnePlus co-founder Carl Pei, has led a fairly private existence. However, its second product ever, the Nothing Phone 1, is now confirmed to be coming this summer. How the Phone 1 will serve as the heart of Nothing's promised ecosystem remains to be seen, but there are already details surrounding this phone's software, feature set, and the hardware it will sport when it does arrive next month. Oh, I probably should take off reader view just to let you. There's that picture. That picture is all over the place, all over the internet right now. But anyway, I think there's a better picture as we go down in the story too. So, when is the Nothing Phone release date? The company's first confirmed that it was working on a smartphone at its 23rd March event. That's true, but at the time only confirmed that the phone would launch in the summer. Since then, it's gotten more specific, promising to launch the phone at an event on 12th of July, which is the same day as Prime Day starts, at 4 p.m. BST. That's 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern time. That's what I'll be looking for. I believe that's also, yeah, that's a Tuesday also, I believe. Despite that, you'll technically be able to buy the phone before launch. Now, get this, it's taking us right back to the OnePlus days. Now, let me take a quick look at the comments here. Oh, Brian's in here. Hey, Brian, glad to see you here, brother. Yeah. And Gary's saying, Nothing Phone equal iPhone 12. Well, yeah, it's real close, that's for sure. Brian's saying we need a nickname for this one, Gary. Yeah, you can pretty much depend on Gary. All right, back to the story. Nothing has partnered with auction site StockX, check this out, to release the first 100 units, all engraved and serialized, in a 48-hour auction that begins on the 21st of June at 2 p.m., 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern. Each of the top 100 bids will receive, get this, a phone engraved with a number corresponding to the value of their bid. So if you bid $10,000, there'll be a $10,000 number on it. So the only way to get number one is to bid the most. Now, of course, you'll have to bid without knowing the phone's full specs or its retail price. So this is, to me, probably a little worse than OnePlus because now we're bidding. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody goes into the 1,000, but that's just me. I won't be taking part in that bidding war. So, Carl's up to his old tricks. Okay, so there's a pretty good picture of them. This is this company that they're doing the bidding with. So you can partially see it through the phone. You can see it's got a big ring for wireless charging, but you'll see the pictures all over the place. It's got an aluminum frame on it, and we'll see that as we go down. Nothing has also confirmed that O2 will be the Phone 1's exclusive network partner in the UK. I don't know O2. While Telecom Deutschland and Flipkart will help bring the phone to European and Indian markets. I know those. On 25th of May, German tech site Allround PC claimed to have received pricing and availability information from a, quote, European dealer who wished to remain anonymous. According to the source, the Phone 1 would arrive on the 21st of July. Obviously, that's after the phone's now confirmed launch event. So we're talking 9 days in between. But could still be revealing. This might be the date that the phone officially goes on sale. That would be my guess. All right, how much? With a launch yet to come, we naturally don't know how much the Phone 1 will cost. Expected to be more affordable than most, however. Let's hope. The company's Ear One headphones boasted competitive pricing at $99, while retaining premium features like ANC, placing them at the upper end of what would be considered budget, within their respective product area. Yeah, that's a good price. If the same treatment were to be applied to the Phone 1, we'd expect it to hit the market at around $500 pounds euros. That's exactly what was predicted by the unnamed European dealer who suggested that July 21st launch date mentioned above, claiming that Nothing's debut phone will cost around 500 euros at launch. That price, or even a little higher, would position the Phone 1 to take on the likes of Realme's GT2 Pro, Google's Pixel 6, while seriously undercutting flagships like the Apple Find X5 Pro, Samsung Galaxy S22, and iPhone 13. Specs and features. CarPlay's former company, OnePlus, is infamous within the industry for drip-feeding details of its products ahead of launches, no kidding. And the same ethos has clearly carried over to Nothing. So we already know a little about what to expect. Yeah, he has been dripping stuff out. Design. The most tantalizing is the phone's design, finally revealed on the 15th of June. You'll have seen it at the top of the page, but you can also get a better look in these two shots of the phone from its real world debut at the Art Basel show. So there's one. I think they explain it here. The design language is immediately familiar to anyone who's seen the Ear One headphones with a mix of white and transparent plastic that hints at the phone's internals without explicitly revealing too much of them. Yeah, and you can see a little bit on the inside and then not so much, just like it says. We can also spot a volume marker on one side with a power button across the other. These images also reveal that the phone packs a set of LED light strips. Yeah, the light strips flashing on the back, I saw that somewhere. It might be in here. But that looked pretty cool. Let's see if we can click on this and what happens. Okay, it's in German. Let's see if we can. I know you won't be able to hear it, but I just want to see if we see the flashing at all. Okay, so there's the phone. And I'm listening in German. Now I could use Eleanor to hear this. She's fluent in German. Let's see if we see any more about the phone here. Yeah, see the flashing? So there's some kind of notifications. Let's go back again. Some kind of notifications going on here. So that's kind of cool, a little different. So it seems that there's flashing down the bottom also. Okay. So not sure what all those notifications are about, but just wanted to see what we could see from that. Okay. You can see these in action in this video from the Art Basel show, as they appear to be able to flash in white in various patterns. Presumably, these can be used for notification alerts, but we're not sure what else, or if they can also be set to a full range of colors. I guess we'll have to wait and see. The company has separately confirmed that the phone's frame will be made out of recycled aluminum. Pei and head of design Tom Howard spoke with Wallpaper in an interview that contains numerous tidbits which grant more insight into the development of the Phone 1's hardware and, to a lesser extent, its software. So here's a bunch of pictures. They're going to explain them right now. Let's see what these guys are saying. Yeah, Brian said he heard it's a 7 Gen 1 chip. I heard the same thing. And Gary likes the black one better. Okay. While sharing some concept sketches, Howard slated, from a design perspective, we really wanted to bring the inside out. There are over 400 components in a smartphone assembled in layers. We want to celebrate the good ones. So they're going to celebrate. Okay. The things we thought were really interesting to emphasize. So these different pictures of it. So this is the sketchbook page. The scanned sketchbook page above might also hold some additional technical information, with the width of the sketches sporting a measurement of 51 millimeters, which would suggest a very small device based on the proportions of the overall sketch, while a couple of figures can be seen partially cut off on the far right, so over here, I guess, of the scan page, 90 and 64, which could suggest a 90 hertz display and a base storage of 64 gigabytes, although it's difficult to make out. These guys are real detectives. The interview also covers the challenges of applying the transparent aesthetic to a phone and how Nothing's engineering team is working to lay out and style the visible components in a jigsaw puzzle that's not only functional and logical, but visually pleasing as well. So I guess this is, at least with the colors, different colors, you can see the parts standing out here. Howard mentions that iconic transit maps like the 1972 New York subway map by Massimo Vanelli and Bob Norda. I used to ride the New York subway in 72, as well as Harry Beck's original 1933 London Underground map, itself inspired by circuit diagrams of the visual clarity, have played a part in forming the visual language set to be used by the Phone 1. So they use subway maps to some degree in designing this thing. Interesting. Core specs. First up, Nothing has confirmed a few key specs officially. The big one is that the phone will feature wireless charging, which you can see in the big circular coil present in the middle of the design. Yeah, we saw that right there. Very large coil there. Okay. Of course, that design also reveals a dual rear camera. Those specs for it remain unknown for now. The company has also confirmed that the Phone 1 will use Qualcomm Snapdragon processor, but not which yet. We're all expecting this Snapdragon 7 Gen 1. While many may hope the phone will use a flagship 8 Gen 1, not likely. It's perhaps more reasonable to expect a more affordable 7 Gen 1. The March 23rd announcement event also cleanly laid out some of Nothing's other key hardware and manufacturing partners, with Samsung, Sony, Visionox, all making an appearance, alluding to who may be responsible for supplying the Nothing phone's display, camera sensors, and more. So these were some of the partners from the event. Getting back to speculation, TÜV certification for a Nothing branded charger seems to reveal that the phone will support 45-watt charging speed. Good, because I have a 45-watt charger. Bear in mind that this is likely for the phone's wired charging, and its wireless capabilities are likely a little slower. Nothing OS, yeah, here we go, OnePlus, shades of OnePlus again. At the March announcement event, Pei also introduced Nothing OS, the Android-based user experience that will debut on the company's first smartphone, just like OnePlus did. In Pei's own words, Nothing OS captures the best features of pure Android, distilling the operating system just to the essentials, where every byte has a purpose. It's a decidedly familiar approach, following similar principles to the Oxygen OS user experience found on phones made by Pei's former company, OnePlus. As seen in the screenshots above, there's a distinct aesthetic to Nothing OS, carrying through the retro futurism already seen in the brand's wider assets. So, this is what we're talking about here. Purpose-made iconography and the company's signature dot matrix font are plentiful, with a smooth and uniform experience manifesting in elements like the clock, which persists across the always-on display, lock screen, home screen, offering great coherence. You're going to hear a sound as I reset this camera, if I can find it. There we go. Let's go back and see some of that. Okay, yeah, there's the always-on display. So here's the black, here's the white. Brian says, like, yo, Renz is in here. Hey, Renz, glad to have you, brother. I'm doing great, guy. We're just going through some of the Nothing One's specs in the story about it. Uh, okay. Purpose made, oh no, did that already. The OS's sound design is apparently influenced by Morse code, oscillators, and digital watches, while the user experience will reportedly be comparatively light on UI animations in pursuit of offering a cleaner and simpler navigation experience. Pay also promised 40% fewer preloaded apps. That's good. Focusing on Google's own experiences as the first port of call for most services, as well as tight integration, not just with Nothing products, but devices and services from other companies, with Apple's AirPods and Tesla's cars getting name checked during the March stream. That's true, they did mention that. To round out the software side of things, Pay promised 3 years of Android OS updates and 4 years of security updates. I'm surprised they didn't go 4 and 5, which paired with a summer launch suggests that the Phone 1 will arrive running Android 12. If you want a taste of what Nothing OS will look like and feel, you can get the Nothing launcher on your phone right now. Yeah, that's been available since March, with a beta version of the company's app launcher available on select phones running Android 11 or newer. It's not the full OS, but we'll give you a hint of what's to come. I'll wait. So that seems to be about everything we know. So July 12th, that's when the big announcement will be. I guess we'll see everything then. Let's see, let me stop this. Stop screen. Okay. So I don't know who's excited for this thing. I was a little excited. I think I'm still excited. I'm not 100% sure. But I mean, if it's affordable, okay. If not, I guess I'll just wait for Samsung and Apple in the following couple of months. So, any of you guys excited? Let me know. Or any of you guys thinking about picking up the Nothing Phone 1? It might be worth it. Certainly would be worth it as a collector's item. That I might pick it up just for that, but I won't be taking part in their auction. That's for sure. So, going on down. Let me share screen again. Still watching for any of the guys to come in. Okay. So we're going to talk about the pricing of the iPhone 14. And this was on Tech Radar. And he's saying there's never been a worse time for the iPhone 14's huge update. Keep your eyes on the price. So, and he explains why. Going to read a view here. Okay, that's by Tom Bedford. For Apple fans, 2022 is shaping up to be a big year, not just with iOS 16, which I do not have. I didn't do the beta, but particularly with the massive iPhone 14 overhaul that many different leakers are queuing up. We're expecting better rear cameras, the loss of the notch, bigger battery. Yeah, this is all on the Pro, I think. An always-on display feature and more, all of which are promising to make this the biggest iPhone series upgrade since the iPhone 10 was unveiled. That all sounds great. We've had too many years with too few upgrades, except 2022 is really the worst possible time for this. Big phone, big cost. Well, the iPhone 14 sounds like Apple's biggest upgrade for a while. It also sounds like the company's most expensive. The most affordable member of the iPhone 13 line was the iPhone 13 mini, but it sounds like this isn't getting a successor. Instead, Apple is apparently gearing up to launch a pricier iPhone 14 Max in its place. And that's the one I plan on getting. I skipped the 13. So there won't be a budget member of the line for people with limited funds. It also sounds like the maximum price range is increasing. Not good. But the iPhone 14 Pro improvements, like the redesigned front cameras, upgraded rear cameras, and newer chipsets, likely to cause the price of the top-end phones to reach even higher. Yeah, and only the Pro versions are getting the new chip. And while Apple does purportedly offer a true low-cost option in the form of the iPhone SE 2022, we'd accuse it of being a joke if Apple only had a sense of humor. At $429, it's far from cheap, and it has a very outdated design and specs. It's certainly not as future-proof as any Android phone that costs half as much. That's true. My Moto Edge Plus, I think, is a much better phone. Of course, that's $700, but there's another issue with the iPhone SE. With it not being the company's flagship phone for the year, it's not exactly as eye-grabbing as the iPhone 14. You don't see as many posters for it or see adverts all year round. No, all our eyes are on iPhone 14, as everyone knows that's coming. Bad times for big money. Lots of countries in the world are facing a cost of living crisis right now, with the gap between wages and the overhead costs of everyday life getting narrower and in some cases closing completely. In this kind of climate, expensive tech is much less appealing. There's a reason we've all been spending so much time sprucing up our list of the budget phones after all. iPhones are expensive. There's no question about that. Naysayers will call them overpriced, and fans will say they're worth the money, but it's hard to argue about them being some of the most expensive mobiles around. And that's not great when people are struggling to pay for food. And diapers, too, for that matter. No, not diapers. Baby food. No, dropping the Mini and bumping the price of the Pro Max is a dubious move in this kind of climate. Right now is the perfect time for a true value for money device. That's true. Not a super pricey Pro Max model or an SE, which can be found in the dictionary listed under budget as an antonym for it. Apple has enough money to take a hit on its profit for a year or two. Yeah, good luck with that. It's reportedly working on VR glasses and its own premium car, when most of us can't even afford to learn to drive at all. By dipping the price of each iPhone 14 model by 100 from the iPhone 13's equivalent price here, hold your breath. It could be great for people who need new tech but can't afford super premium phones or need a good reason to justify the purchase. We don't see this happening. Apple is a big tech company after all, but the brand really needs to do something to stop its biggest iPhone upgrade in years from being a total flop. And it could be, I guess. It's going to be interesting. Anyway, that is the phone I want, so we'll see how that goes. So let's stop screen. Let me get out of reader view here and get rid of that. So anybody else thinking about picking up the iPhone? Let's see, Brian is saying, anybody know where All Dad Tech went? Actually, Mike does know. Well, he knows where he lives, and it's close to Mike. But don't know that anybody's going to approach him. If I were there, I would just have to keep reminding myself I belong to Jesus, because I would want to hurt the guy really, really badly. But that's just me. But I wouldn't. Okay. Let's talk about something more cheerful. All right. Go down to the next story. Let's see. Okay. Time-wise, we're doing okay. Better than I thought we'd do. Oh, and Renz, if you hadn't noticed, I have, first time ever, I'm using my DSLR camera tonight. And as you can see, the colors, the skin color, the hat, all the colors and picture are way, way better. I showed the other guys when it first started, but I'll show you the difference. If I switch cameras, go back to my Logitech. That's the camera I've been using for a couple of years now. And you can see the colors are washed out. The colors are not true at all, and it's nowhere near as sharp as the DSLR. And this is an old DSLR, but I'm loving the way it worked out, and I'm loving the way it looks. I think I got the shot just right. And the only thing is I have to reset it every half hour. So you know what? Let me go do that now. Let's deactivate go back to the other camera. Okay. And that will give me a chance to reset this camera. And then I can go back. So I have to solve why I have to reset it every half hour because it shuts itself off. I'll just shut the screen off, but I don't know how to fix it yet. Hopefully Ted will teach me at some point. So, okay. Oh, Gary didn't. Brian didn't know. Yeah, he ripped off, after talking to Mike last week when I was up in Jersey, he ripped off not only somebody for the Pixel 6 Pro, I gather he ripped off a few people and nobody can get in touch with the guy. But like I said, Mike knows where the guy lives now. So I don't know what anybody's going to do about it, but, we're all just really, really seriously disappointed in this guy. So that's all we know so far. And, okay. Yeah, that's, I guess, the guy that he ripped off. Yeah, Adam Tech Odyssey. So, but he ripped off at least one or two other YouTubers also. So. And then he went ghost. Yeah, he disappeared. But anyway, I'm not going to address that. I'm not there. And Mike's not as dumb as me, so he probably won't do anything rash. All right, let's go back to our stories. I'm going to share screen again. Okay. And what I call this story, suddenly Apple leads Android in screen customization. So this was on Phone Arena. And very true. And they make good points here. Apple leapfrogs Android in customization while fanboys bring up decade-old failed concepts. Okay, guys, don't get mad at me. I'm just reading a story. Just letting you know. And Gary says there's 3 different YouTubers that he ripped off in total. Okay. So this is by Victor Ristov. So let's go into reader view. The big new feature in iOS 16 is lock screen widgets. True, actionable, customizable widgets that work on everything from a 5-year-old iPhone 8 to the newest iPhone 13 series. And now a bunch of bloggers claim that Apple stole this feature from Android. Now here's where they make really good points. Accepting this premise, however, is a very, very slippery slope for Android itself. The reality is that in 2022, no major Android phone supports lock screen widgets in a user-friendly fashion. You don't have the feature on the flagship Google Pixel. You have very limited customization on Samsung phones. The reality is that it doesn't really exist natively on Android, which is very true. Google had lock screen widgets, but then removed the feature. And Gary's already saying fake news. Well, I'll get to the story anyway. Lock screen widgets were available for a short while on Android 10 years ago. See, Google had native lock screen widgets. I didn't know that. In Android 4.1 Jelly Bean, I remember that. We'd forgive you if you don't remember those times. We barely do. Yeah, I barely do too. But that was exactly 10 years ago with devices like the Nexus 4 and the Nexus 7 in the vogue at those times. Yeah, everybody loved their 7. Back then, you could actually add widgets on your lock screen and see information at a glance without unlocking your phone. Unfortunately, Google quickly changed its mind about that functionality, and it only lasted a short while before the company voluntarily removed the feature from Android, and it's been missing in a native form ever since. Now, he goes through some stuff to prove this too. Does this mean it's absolutely impossible to get lock screen widgets on Android? Technically, no. It is, in fact, still possible. However, in order to do that, you have to go through some serious hoops, and yes, he does. And let's be honest, what percent of Android users are actually using lock screen widgets like that? That's right, everybody's not tech nerds like us. I can bet you money that it's less than 1%. But why is this feature that Android users are so quick to pound their chest about inventing missing in action on most users' phones right now? Lock screen widgets on Android in 2022 are a mess. A quick attempt to use lock screen widgets brings you to one of two places. If you are among the few who know about Samsung's power user tools, you will probably download the Good Lock Samsung made app. Yeah, I have that on my Samsung phones. That unlocks all sorts of power moves. For most other phones, you will end up on the Google Play Store. I haven't tried using mine for lock screens. I may when I get a chance. This is exactly why I looked for a lock screen widget app for the Pixel 5a that I have as a backup phone. The Play Store gave me dozens of results, but most of the apps seemed ancient and had a concerningly small audience. I tried using the most popular one, KLCK, I guess, click, short for Custom Lock Screen Probably, an app with 100,000 downloads. 100,000 was not a reassuring number, and it's definitely not the mass adoption that you would expect to see on an app that Apple allegedly stole from Android. But I gave it a go. Trying to use KLC Clay was an exercise in frustration. The app itself is free. Now get this, but if you want some sort of usable presets, you'll need to buy them separately. They cost $1 to $2 each. Yeah, that's a ripoff. And users might also need the $6 Pro Key app. Don't even know what that is. But even a quick glance at the app on the Play Store, and you'll notice that the screenshots showcasing its functionality seem to be captured on a device running Android 7. I might not get the exact version right, but it's in that ballpark. And yes, that is a terribly outdated version of Android. Widgets looked equally out of date. Here's one review of the Circles widget for the custom app on the Google Play Store. I'll never understand how to use KWGP, KLWP apps, even after watching the super confusing how-to videos on YouTube. And here's the first review of the KWGT Custom Widget Maker app on the Google Play Store, which has more than 5 million downloads. Been using this app for about a year now. If I could give it negative stars, I would. The app is complete garbage. Yeah, it is customizable, but the app is so incredibly clunky at best. Now, you got to give this guy credit for using it for a year. If it was that bad, he really gave it a try. In one of the replies to customer complaints, the developer of the app says, I know about the issues, and I am working on a new UI which will slowly make this better. It will take time, though, as team is microscopic. In other words, probably just the one guy. I feel sorry for the guy, but claiming that Apple stole this from Android is not only absurd, it's laughable. It's as valid a comparison as saying the iPhone copied the LG Prada. Yes, some people did say that in the past. Looking in retrospect, the only real similarity is that they have a screen in a rectangular form, but that's about it. And one can only laugh at such a comparison. It truly sounds bonkers. Yet, some people still run with titles such as LG once out iPhone the iPhone. Moral of the story, we should demand better from everyone. So going back to my original point, we have something similar happening now with iOS 16 and its new lock screen widgets, and they do look beautiful and very handy. Yes, technically you had something very remotely similar earlier on Android, but it was never that powerful nor as intuitive, well, it's 10 years ago, as you now have on iOS. Not to mention Android never had powerful features like the ability to switch between lock screens with just a couple of swipes and tie each of those custom lock screens to a particular focus mode. Okay. It is this unprecedented level of customization that Apple offers natively in an extremely approachable format that everyone can use versus an obscure app on Android that uses 6-year-old design concepts and is run by one or a few enthusiast developers. Yeah, everybody seems to love the lock screen. So my plea here is not just to be blind defenders of one ecosystem, I agree, and defended it no matter what. This is what fanboys do. In this case, let's not be afraid to actually hold Google accountable. Yeah, this is what pushed Will away from Google. Yes, in this case, it is clearly Google and Android that now feel like they have to catch up. I would agree, at least as far as lock screen goes, not the other way around. And even if Google was first to come up with a vague idea about lock screen widgets a decade ago, let's not forget that this very same Google turned its back and abandoned that idea soon after. Gee, what a surprise. That process should go two ways, of course. In quite a few other respects, it is Apple that deserves to be criticized for falling behind Android. Let's not close our eyes and defend our favorite brand, though, even when the best we can do to help it grow is give it some heat. I think he makes very, very good points there. So, yeah, I mean, everybody knows I'm a Google lover, but hey, Apple looks like they got this. I can't wait till I get the iPhone 14, assuming I can afford it. So, stop screen. I thought that was a very good story, and I thought he made his points extremely well. Okay, now the other guys came in. Okay, I've got two more stories for you guys. So, you know what? Let me give me a second. Let me switch cameras again, if you don't mind. So I won't wonk out on me in the middle of stuff. And then we'll get right back to it. Okay. Deactivate. Activate. Okay, there we go. All right, we should be good the rest of the way. Now, share screen. Yeah, you guys let me know if you like the colors and the clarity of the picture. I just think it's phenomenally better. So this is, and the EU is going after them again, and I think they've got them. EU to tech companies control deepfakes, bots, etc., or face massive fines. And this is on CNET. And my feeling is when the EU forces these companies to do things in Europe, well, the sensible thing for them to do is to do it everywhere after that. Otherwise, you're spending money making multiple versions. So anyway, this story came out of left field for me because I didn't know this was coming. EU strengthens disinformation rules to target deep fakes, which I gather is becoming a real big problem. Bots, fake accounts, and bots also. That's by Katie Collins. This is from yesterday. Let's go to review. Okay. The EU strengthens rules around how tech companies tackle problems such as deepfake videos, bots, and fake accounts. Oh, Brian, thank you as always so much, brother. Appreciate it very much. Why it matters. The revised code means that tech companies could incur massive fines. They don't tell you how much the fines would be for failing to take action on disinformation. I guess it's a case-by-case basis. Signatories to the code, including Meta, Google, Twitter, and TikTok, have 6 months to show they're complying with the updated rules. So in other words, these companies have to sign on, and then they're saying they'll abide by the rules. So they'll have 6 months to do so. The European Commission on Thursday released an overhauled set of rules designed to stem the flow of disinformation. The EU strengthened code of practice on disinformation will hold signatories to the code liable for failing to take action by fining them up to 6% of their global revenue. So for these guys, that's huge. Tech giants Meta, Google, TikTok, and Twitter are among the signatories. So they've already signed on. So 6% would be a big, big chunk of money. Let's see if I can get this right. Commissioners Vera Jourova and Terry Breton said in a press conference that the updates address previous shortcomings. The revised rules cover manipulative behaviors, including deepfake videos, bots, and fake accounts, but also aim to eliminate financial incentives for the spread of disinformation by ensuring that disseminators of problematic content don't benefit from advertising revenue. The only thing I worry about there is who's deciding what's disinformation. Platforms have also been asked to give users new tools to recognize, understand, and flag disinformation. But with the deepfakes and bots, I totally agree. Disinformation is a form of invasion of our digital space with tangible impact on our daily lives. That could be very easily be true. Online platforms need to act much more strongly, especially on the issue of funding. Spreading disinformation should not bring a single euro to anyone. I agree. When the EU introduced its information code in 2018, participation was voluntary, I guess it still is, and the rules were created as an alternative to legislation. Yeah, now there's legislation. 4 years later, the problem of disinformation, which became apparent following the 2016 UK Brexit referendum and US presidential election, has become even more widespread. That's true, particularly related to the COVID-19 pandemic and Russia's war against Ukraine. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff on both sides, or more than two sides, really. This new anti-disinformation code comes at a time when Russia is weaponizing disinformation as part of its military aggression against Ukraine, but also when we see attacks on democracy more broadly, Jourova said. Europe's digital rules have also changed since the code was introduced. That's good. And the code is now underpinned by legislation, specifically the Digital Services Act, which is what these companies signed on to, which was finalized in April. The Digital Services Act is designed to hold digital platforms to account and will give the EU more power to monitor companies to ensure they're complying with the disinformation code. Signing on to the code is still voluntary. That's what I thought. And the EU has now opened it up to smaller companies alongside the existing signatories, which have all been major tech platforms. There are 33 signatories so far to the revised rules, more than double the previous number. Updating the rules has been a collaborative process, that's good, with existing signatories, Breton said. Although the EU has been subject to lobbying by tech companies, Breton said that he and Jourova used to pressure and that big tech companies didn't get their way on everything they asked for, which means they did on some things. Combating the spread of misinfo is a complex and evolving societal issue, I'm sure. Now, get this, Meta president of Global Affairs, Nick Clegg, tweeted Thursday. So the president of Global Affairs for Meta has to send his information out on Twitter, which seems all wrong to me, but that's just me. We continue to invest heavily in teams and technology, and we look forward to more collaboration to address it together. Does anybody believe anything Meta says? I don't. A Twitter spokesman said the company welcomed the updated code. Through and beyond the code, Twitter remains committed to tackling misinformation and disinformation as we continue to evaluate and evolve our approach in this ever-changing environment. This from a company who's being investigated by the guy who wants to buy them for bots. Okay. TikTok also weighed in. As a signatory to the Code of Practice on Disinformation since 2020, we're proud to have played our part in drafting this new code, and we look forward to furthering our work by joining forces to combat disinformation and promote authentic online experiences for our communities. TikTok, all they care about is making more money, and they've gotten better at it than anybody else. Spokesman for Google welcomed the introduction of the code, calling it an important instrument in the fight against disinformation. So they all have their same talking points. The global pandemic and the war in Ukraine have shown that people need accurate information more than ever, and we remain committed to making the Code of Practice a success, he said. But not all signatories were universally praising the code, and I agree with this next point. If big tech platforms don't step up their actions, the code isn't worth the paper it's written on, said Luca Nicotra, campaign director at Avez, a nonprofit that's one of the signatories. So they're part of this too. This is why we need monitoring with teeth from the EU Commission that boldly flags platform failures. Journalism Misinformation Tracker NewsGuard, which is a new signatory, said in a statement that it's disappointed that the Commission had only recommended big tech platforms provide indicators of how trustworthy content is rather than making it mandatory. I couldn't agree more. You have to force these people to give you the information. The code will continue to fail to protect users until the platforms are forced to provide independent information. I agree 100% about the journalistic standards of the news and information spread and recommended by the platforms, which too often acts as the useful idiots for propaganda such as those in the Kremlin. So yeah, you've got to make these people do it, not just, recommend that they do it. So I agree with that 100%. But anyway, I think it's kind of a step in the right direction. Yo, Ted, glad to have you here, brother. Almost, well, my next to the last story at this point. And let's see, stop screen. So at least you can see me a lot clearer and in a lot better color. I just have to figure out why I have to reset this camera every half an hour to keep it from shutting the screen off. But other than that, oh yeah, and Ted, you had asked me the other day, if you guys don't mind bearing with me a second, what was wrong with the other camera. Now I can show you the difference in the cameras, Ted. So I'm going to deactivate this camera and I'm going to activate the webcam. And there's the difference. And certainly you can see the difference in clarity, but especially in color. So that's what the webcam looks like. And back to the DSLR. I just think that is so much better. So that was the difference. So Ted, you'll have to teach me how I can stop this thing from shutting the screen off every half an hour, so I won't have to reset it. Other than that, I'm very happy with it. So I've got one more story left, but if, Ted, if you feel like jumping in, you just come on in. So let's share screen. Of course, we're back to Mr. Musk again, but we're not going to be able to avoid that for a while, I wouldn't think. And I did go a week without any Twitter stories with Musk. So it's been 2 weeks, 3 weeks that you've seen one. So, I said, will the continuous year-by-year Twitter losses mean job cuts in the near future? And this was on The Verge. So Elon Musk hints that layoffs are in Twitter's future. He says the company needs to get healthy financially. This guy's a real businessman. I would think he knows what he's talking about. Elon Musk told Twitter employees on Thursday that the company needs to get healthy financially and bring down costs, suggesting that job cuts are likely in store if his deal to buy the social media service goes through. Right now, costs exceed revenue, Musk said when asked about the possibility of layoffs during an internal Q&A, according to employees who heard the remarks. That's not a great situation. The question of layoffs has been top of mind for Twitter's more than 7,000 employees since Musk first said he wanted to buy the company. Current CEO Parag Agrawal told staffers in an earlier meeting that layoffs weren't being planned at this time. Yeah, but it's a day-by-day thing. Though Musk didn't explicitly say if there would be job cuts Thursday, his comments suggest the odds are high. Musk previously indicated that Twitter would cut roles in a pitch deck shared with potential investors, according to the New York Times. The deck reportedly showed that Musk wants to increase Twitter's headcount in the short term, then cut around 900 jobs before resuming growth. Twitter's annual revenue grew last year to $5.8 billion, up from $3.2 billion in 2020. That sounds good until you go on. But the company is still losing money overall, even if those losses are shrinking. Twitter's full year losses in 2021 fell to 221 million. That's a lot of money to lose, down from a loss of 1.14 billion in 2020. Musk has prioritized a number of revenue-focused products in his comments about future plans for Twitter, including a heavy focus on subscriptions. So just thought that was interesting, and I should include that as the last story. Stop screen. Let's see. Yeah, I already checked the auto power, and I've already turned it off, so that's not it. And I've watched 20 videos. Yeah, I already know that's off. I even downloaded Magic Lantern, and that's how I got rid of the white box, the focus box. So I've learned some things. Ted says about Musk, wasn't he threatening layoffs 2 weeks ago in Tesla? Yeah, he wasn't threatening. What he told his Tesla employees was either come to the office or go find another job. So that's not threatening layoffs. He just says he wants them in the office. So many people have gotten used to working from home. Now they don't think they should have to go to the office. So that's up to each person's individual decision, in my opinion. Brian wants to know if you're jumping on, Ted. If you are, let me know, because I'm getting very close to the end. Oh, okay. Can't ATM. Okay. He's getting me some money, I hope. What's Ted saying? So things are looking up for Twitter with those profits. Yeah, well, I'm thinking that, Musk is a businessman. He's going to set up things to make money, and that makes perfect sense as long as he doesn't, cut it off as a free service for the rest of us. So I think that's fine. So I think if anybody can make it profitable, I think he should be able to do it. Just my opinion. Okay. So I am down to, as usual, glowing rectangles. So I'm going to bring that up. I'm going to share screen. And everybody that I know is on here knows about this, but just in case somebody new is watching. All right, if you're new here, every week we end up showing you glowing rectangles, which is on Reddit. So if you go, let me get rid of the stuff that's blocking you guys seeing. Okay, so if you go to reddit.com/r/glowing rectangles, this was started by some gadget guy, Juan Bagnell. And if you have a blog or video or videos that you want to get more exposure, you can put it on here every day. And for yourself or anybody else, a place to talk about the best tech toys. So if you go in here and you click top, you can upvote and downvote each story every day. And when you click top, it shows you which stories got the most upvotes. I don't know anybody that downvotes. So today's story was the Keychron K2 versus K4 versus K6. Don't know that lady, but that got the most votes today, 4 votes. If you scroll down, the second story is always an ad, the second thing you see. And then this got the next most upvotes. Gateron Oil King Switch review. So that's how it works. You can go to reddit.com/r/glowing rectangles, post a story or post a video and let people vote on it. But at the very least, you or whoever they are will get some more exposure, which is why Juan started. So I just think that's a pretty terrific thing for him to do. And he maintains it, I think, all by himself. So I think that's pretty nice. But of course, Juan is a nice guy. Okay, I am at the end of the stream. So actually, I lasted past 9 o'clock by myself. Pretty good for me. I hope you guys like the new camera setup. Oh, okay, cool. Very good. He's talking about the one on going rectangles. Okay. So I hope you guys like the new camera setup. I'll be sticking with this. Okay. So he had to do research on that second story, I guess. And I'll be sticking with this and if I have to keep resetting it every half hour, I'll do it. But I'll try to learn how to get around that in the next week. And this weekend, either tomorrow, because I've got a camera comparison that I shot 2 days ago that I haven't even put up yet. But I think this weekend I'm going to do something a little bit different, shooting in the car. So it'll be a little bit of a surprise. So you guys watch out for that. I'm guessing I'll probably have it up by Sunday. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, so I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. I hope you fathers have a great Father's Day. I hope those of you that still have fathers show them some love and take them out and give them a good time or give them something they really love. So I want everybody to have a very blessed weekend. And I've come up with a new tagline. Let me see what Ted is saying. By the way, this 720p is looking more like 360p to me. Anyone else having? Yeah, no, mine always comes out 720p. Looks okay to me. Brian says, have a great weekend. Anyway, my tagline that I'm trying to remember to put at the end of all my videos is that we'll all do better if we love each other. And since I mean that, I want to make sure I try to say that at the end of any of my live streams or my videos. So everybody have a great Father's Day weekend, and I will see you next week. And maybe some of the guys will be here.